the members of the Tea Party movement tend to be Christian conservatives and not libertarians. We'll go deeper into that survey with its lead author.
The Tea Party, we talk a lot about the Tea Party and its influence on politics. Well, there's a new survey out that shows that members of the Tea Party tend to be Christian conservatives, not libertarians. And in fact, the survey says 1 in 10 Americans consider themselves part of the Tea Party movement. Of course, these are folks who like Sarah Palin, not so much President Obama. Fred?
All right, Mark Preston, appreciate that. And of course, we want to take a closer look at the poll and other findings from the Tea Party survey. So joining us from Washington is Robert P. Jones, the founder and CEO of the Public Religion Research Institute. Good to see you.
Thanks. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so what is the lure here? How is it that these common denominators or people with these common denominators have found themselves supporting the same cause, supporting perhaps the same candidates?
Sure. Well, one of the things that we did in the American Values Survey, which is a large survey of more than 3,000 Americans, is to take a hard look at the Tea Party. There's been a lot of anecdotal evidence about what is the relationship between the Christian conservative movement and the Tea Party movement, and now we actually have some hard data, and it turned up some surprising things. One of the most surprising things that turned up was the surprising overlap between the Tea Party movement, those who consider themselves part of the Tea Party movement, and those who consider themselves part of the Christian right, which is the movement that's been around for a much longer time on the Republican side of politics. And we found that nearly half, 47%, of those who consider themselves part of the Tea Party movement also consider themselves part of the Christian conservative movement. So that means that it's not just that these are two separate groups that have found common cause, but in fact these are two groups that are sharing largely the same membership.
Well, it's interesting too and surprising because, you know, usually gravitating or associating yourself with a religious cause or mindset might mean that you might be more apt to want to talk about social issues, but instead the Tea Party movement as a whole has been attaching itself to more economic issues, financial issues. So it seems like a oxymoron.
Right. Well, one of the things we also wanted to see, and this is something that public opinion polls are great for, is to see if there's a gap between the rhetoric of the leadership and the people who are actually the rank and file who identify with the movement. And another one of the things, while we confirmed several things about the Tea Party movement, you've already mentioned some, Fox News, high favorability for Sarah Palin, high antipathy for President Obama. On the other hand, one of the things that you're pointing to here is we looked into whether or not, for example, those who identify with the Tea Party had a kind of more of a libertarian view on social issues, and we actually found that they look much more like social conservatives than libertarians on social issues. For example, on the issue of abortion, nearly 2/3 of those who identify with the Tea Party say that abortion should be illegal in all or most cases, and less than 1 in 5 of those who identify with the Tea Party say that same-sex marriage should be legal.
But then these are not the issues that they're talking collectively, publicly about.
Yeah, that's right. That certainly we see Glenn Beck sort of shying away from those issues. But if you look underneath the kind of the leadership and the issues and where the sort of hearts and minds of the people who are forming the ranks of this group, they look very much like social conservatives rather than libertarians.
All right, very fascinating stuff. Robert P. Jones, the founder and CEO of the Public Religion Research Institute. Thanks so much for your insight on this.
Thanks very much for having me.
And, of course, check out more about this survey on the CNN Belief blog. That's at cnn.com/belief. And we'll be right back in a moment.